Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials, and gaming simpler and better. What if I told you the graphics settings in the Outer Worlds 2 are holding you back? The built-in Upscalers are okay, but they are far from the best. In this video, we're going to unlock the absolute best image quality and the best performance possible. I'll show you how to install a custom FSR mod and the brand new OptiScaler to make this game look truly next gen in regards to upscaling. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are in the beautiful world of the Outer Worlds 2. First, let's take a look at what the game gives us right out of the box. So let's hit escape on our keyboard, then go into settings and graphics. It's conveniently the first tab. And if we see over here at the Upscaler, we have a none. And then we get, the typical TAA slop. And then we have another slop, in my opinion, which is the Unreal Engine's own TSR, the temporal super resolution, as they call it. And then we have AMD Fidelity FX4, which is basically for us plebs with, RDNA 2, the FSR 3.1.5, and the last option is the Intel XeSS. I mean, we got some options, that's pretty good. They're not bad, but in this channel, we don't want the it's not bad option, but we need the best option we can get our hands on, basically. So let's get started with the default experience. As you can see over here, these are the settings I prefer. I haven't changed anything except for the motion blur, and I've turned on hardware ray tracing. It really helps with the noise, you'll see what I mean. And then everything else is in the high preset. I haven't touched anything else. You can see on the top left of our screen the actual frames per second, and then the averages and the 1% lows. I'm not really sure, but yeah, the averages are pretty nice. We get some stutters every now and then, but yeah, this is how the game looks. It looks pretty nice, especially on native, but even on native, as you can see, the ray tracing in this game is kind of rough, and we have a lot of noise, as you can see over here. But yeah, this is how the game looks. Let me do a little run over here, and we'll see how everyone looks. Let's go do a close-up to this guy and this guy over here. And this is going to be our little run. Let's go ahead and try different settings. So this one says native. Let's go into quality. I'm gonna hit apply. And as you can see, it's 75% of our resolution. This is quality. Let's go down. Check these people over here. We went like this, then we went like this, then we went like this, and this, and then we went back up. Okay, and now let's go with performance. I mean, obviously the performance boost is pretty big on performance mode. We are hitting about 140 frames per second on average, I believe. But yeah, let's go on ahead and see how this looks. As you can see, there's a lot more instability because the Upscaler has a much lower resolution to work with. But in general, it doesn't look too bad. I think we could probably work with this even though it's TSR, but as you can see, a lot of the details in the faces are gone and there's a lot of instability in the textures. And yeah, some of the effects is like the breath was kind of really low resolution as we saw earlier. So yeah, it looks pretty rough. As you can see, this is very disturbing to say the least. Okay, let's not waste too much time. I'm gonna go with the FSR-3, unfortunately, for us RDNA2 users. And FSR 3.1.5 looks really rough from the get-go. Even quality mode doesn't look good in this game, unfortunately. You can see there's a lot of instability, and I think they're applying sharpening filter on top of it. Let me see if we can change that. There is FSR sharpness. 15% is not that much, but let's try disabling it altogether and starting over. Yeah, it's still pretty bad. And if anything, I think that the sharpness filter was kind of helping the situation, especially because everything looks kind of smoothed out. Let's go on ahead and check out the humans over here. Okay. Yeah, very unstable, unfortunately. 3.1.5, a very unstable experience. And we're gonna go with performance. Let's go with performance because not all Upscalers have the ultra performance option. And we're gonna go with 0 sharpness because I didn't see a sharpness option in TSR at least, so we're not gonna use it. I don't know if there's a built-in sharpness filter in TSR, but yeah, this looks really, really bad, and we're not getting the performance boost we were getting with TSR, unfortunately. As you can see, it's very unstable, very, very low resolution. It looks really, really rough. So you can see, yeah, everything is kind of destroyed. The hair is, you know, looking horrible. Yep. Everything unfortunately looks bad with 3.1.5 in this game. Very unstable. And the performance boost, unfortunately, is not there. So our other option over here is XeSS. I'm gonna go with quality. As you can see, quality is pretty good for XeSS. We do get the noise over there. Let me check. Do we have sharpness? No, we don't. Okay. So the fair thing is for FSR to remain with a 0% sharpness in all of our testing. And as you can see over here, it's quality mode. It looks pretty good. It's not too bad. So let's go on ahead, check this guy out. Yeah. This looks a lot better, but some of the textures in XeSS have come into the realization they do get a little bit wonky. As you can see over here, this texture over here of his suit looks kind of wonky as he moves, but everything else looks very, very stable. This is quality, so it kind of is a given, I suppose. But let's go on ahead and check the last guy over here, Niles, and then we're gonna go up and we're gonna test the performance setting over here. So let's see how this looks. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. This looks bad over here, and that texture in the distance, those look bad, but yeah. It's doing a pretty good job, I think. Especially when we get up close to some of the textures. Yeah, it's a pretty stable image in comparison. Let's go ahead and check this guy. Yeah, the hair kind of look a bit funky over here. Let's go ahead and check this gal. She is in a darker area, but yeah, we can see that the wonkiness in the hair is present as well. What about this guy? Yeah, the hair got a little bit wonky, but overall the textures look fine, I guess. The performance boost again is not there. This is the default experience, so let's go back into the default settings of this game. I'm gonna go with the TSR and then go with native. I'm gonna keep those settings and everything else will remain the same. So let's go ahead and exit out of the game. Again, all those Upscalers, they're not bad. We get a decent image, but the moment we try to claw back some real performance, yikes. Things get pretty shimmery and unstable, especially on the lower end for FSR. TSR looked the best in this game so far, and what I can tell you is that we can do much better. So let's fix that. So the first step is to replace the default FSR files with a much better modded version. We're going to be using the int8 modded files. And if you want more details on how to do that, because for RDNA 2, you need to follow my guide to mod your drivers as well, and you can find that guide up here, I believe. Is it up there? Yeah. Hello? So basically, we need to navigate where the actual exe of our game is. And in this particular instance, this is a Steam game, so the easiest way would be to just open up your Steam, then right-click, manage, and go into browse local files. That's going to be the easiest way for you to find this location. So basically, after you go in here, we need to go into this folder called Arkansas, then binaries, then Win64. And as you can see, this is where the actual exe of our game lives. So anyway, you can see over here we have a 3.1.5 frame generation version of the FSR, and this is the 4.0.2, so these are supposedly the latest versions, but these are not going to work by default. We need the int8 modded files for this to work. And first of all, we need to download them. If you guys want to download these files, I'm going to have some links in the description below. And now the most important step, backups. So find these two files that I'm showing you right here on my screen right now. So the frame generation and the Upscaler_dx12.dll. And at the end of each file, we're gonna right click and then press rename. I'm gonna add the .old extension. And this practically is going to allow me to keep a backup of these files, and they're not going to be overwritten when we copy over the new files. So .old on this other file as well. So this means if for some reason something doesn't work, your game crashes to the desktop, you cannot play anymore or something, you just delete the files we were going to copy over and then rename those files back to their original form. So .dll, just delete the .old extension we just added, and we're going to be back into vanilla basically. So let's go ahead and copy over these two files. I'm going to right click copy and then go back into the Win64 folder over here and paste. And yep, this part is done. So that's part one done. You could stop here and already see a nice improvement, but we're here for the best, right? Now for the main event, installing the all-new OptiScaler. We're using version 0.9.0 pre-5, and it is a massive update. So what makes this a new OptiScaler so special? It's a huge overhaul that brings some game-changing improvements. It's got better frame generation for a smoother experience, more game support, and even fixes crashes in other titles like Stellar Blade. And for you Linux gamers, there are major improvements for Proton. So installation is super simple. Just drag and drop all the OptiScaler files I'm going to show you on screen into the same Win64 game folder. Let's go ahead and do that now. And by the way, if you guys also want to download this latest version, it's not available on their GitHub. It's only available through their Discord, and I'm also going to have a link for their Discord, you know where, in the description below. I've opened up the OptiScaler 7z file over here, and as you can see, we're gonna grab these specific files. We're going to avoid anything related to FSR because we just used the modded FSR files instead of the default ones. I'm gonna grab all of these except for the setup_linux sh because we're not gonna need it. We're gonna grab the DLSS overrides and the d3d12_OptiScaler folders, and then I'm just gonna drag and drop them into our game installation folder. Okay, we can close out of this one safely, and now we're just gonna run the setup_windows.bat file. So this is obviously a command window, and we are presented with some choices. If you are on AMD hardware like me, just follow my on-screen actions and you'll be all set. But if you're on NVIDIA or Intel, just follow the on-screen prompts as you see them on your screen, and again, you'll be fine. I think they've streamlined it enough. It's pretty simple. So just go ahead and install it. I'm gonna just press 1 for dxgi.dll. And then I'm gonna choose AMD Intel because that is my hardware, AMD basically. And then it's gonna ask me if I wanna try to use the DLSS inputs, and obviously I'm gonna say yes. So press any key to continue, and we're basically done. Now, if you are on AMD or Intel GPU hardware, this is the most critical step. Before you close this folder over here, we need to go into this subdirectory we copied over from OptiScaler, and it's called DLSS overrides. We're gonna double click on this one. Basically, you must do this if you want this to work. If you don't do this, it will not work. So double click on this disable signature override.reg or registry. You're going to be presented with a black screen probably that says that user account control has detected a system change. Just answer yes, and then yes again on the new screen, and then OK. And you're basically ready to go. So this little file is what tricks the game into thinking we have DLSS, allowing OptiScaler to work its magic. So now we're ready to fire up the game again, basically. And boom! As you can see on the bottom left of the screen, it was the OptiScaler message. So that's the sign of success. It means we've followed the steps to the T and we were successful. OptiScaler is running on our system. Let's load up our save game, and after it loads, we are gonna hit the escape key and go into our graphics settings. So first of all, I would suggest you enable the DLSS upscaling option over here. Now we have access to that, as you can see, and don't worry about the other settings yet. So now we're back in the game. Press the insert key on your keyboard, and you can see we have access to the OptiScaler menu. So for Upscaler, I'm going to choose the FSR 3.x over here, then click on the Change Upscaler button. And it by default selects the FSR 4.0.2. If you get the same kind of bug that I'm getting with the flashing screen, just click on the non-linear sRGB input and boom, it's fixed. And now, just to get ready for frame generation, I would suggest you click on the option over here, and we're gonna go with DLSS-G via Streamline, and then on the FG output, I'm gonna click on FSR-FG. And here's the secret sauce, by the way, untick the FSR inputs box. And now we can save INI and close. So basically that setting forces the system to use the higher quality DLSS 4 inputs instead. And basically we just restart the game. All right, we're back. One last step, go back into the graphics settings by pressing escape once more and enable DLSS frame generation. DLSS frame generation is set to on, and by default, it will give us the NVIDIA Reflex low latency, and it's on plus boost. So I'm gonna press apply, keep, escape to go back into the game, and now we will press insert because obviously it's not working yet, and we can activate the frame generation and allow async. But before we do that, let's check out how the game performs and how it looks. So this is FSR-4 in quality mode. Performance as well. So let's go with performance. We gained about 13 to 15 frames per second. That's not too bad. The noise looks softer, which is kind of a good thing, I suppose. This looks very unstable, but it looks better than all the other Upscalers we tested. Even better than TSR in my opinion. It's a lot more stable. Textures look really, really good. Yeah, I have no complaints. And let's go downstairs and check out our NPCs. How do they look? Yeah, I don't see any downgrade in regards to the instability. It's kind of the same, like the shadows in the hair look kind of the same, but other than that, they look kind of exactly the same. Even the smoke looks exactly the same. The breath, yeah, looks fine. Let's go to the older guy over here. Yeah, it looks pretty okay. The instability is kind of not so noticeable because of the softness. So it's not making his eyebrows pop. Yeah, this guy looks fine as well. But yeah, just to top things off, I would probably play this with DLAA, which is basically using the native AA of FSR-4, and apply that, and you'll see that the game looks significantly better. And we're around the 80 FPS range over here, and it looks very, very stable. The noise is pretty much gone. But what we can also do to boost our performance, so we can actually enable frame generation now. So press insert on your keyboard, and under the frame generation FSR-FG category over here, we're gonna click on active and allow async, and we're gonna save the INI and close. And as you can see, we are at about 152 FPS. We can see the actual FPS as well on the top left of our screen. This is the Steam default overlay that I really like, and you can see we don't see any ghosting or anything weird, because this is the streamline version of OptiScaler, and it basically uses the DLSS inputs for everything, including frame generation, and yeah, everything looks perfectly fine. So we are on native resolution. There is no input lag whatsoever, and everything looks perfect. The hair look amazing. Let's go check her out. Yeah, there's no wobbliness in her hair anymore, and we have over 150 FPS. The performance is also amazing. Yep, very, very stable. And basically, this would be my preferred way of playing this game. Even for native AA, FSR-4 Int 8 delivers a far better experience than anything that is given to us in the default game. So yeah, I'm gonna have some split screen results over here, and you can look at this with your own eyes. It is amazing. Quality mode obviously looks fantastic, but look at performance mode. The shimmering is almost gone, the image is stable, and the detail is just insane compared to the blurry or super blocky mess we had with the built-in Upscalers. So this is how the game is meant to be played, in my opinion. So there you have it. A bit of work, but the difference is absolutely night and day. The combination of the int8 mod and the new OptiScaler is a must-have for any PC player, not only for the Outer Worlds 2, but for any modern game. Let me know in the comments what kind of performance boost you're seeing on your setup. And if there are any other games you want me to push to the limit, tell me below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click on that bell to never miss another GeekJ video, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye! Bye! Bye!